Hey, Ellen. Okay, thanks for getting this in. And then, you said that you found that you felt that the incident readings were a little bit overexposed, and you ended up preferring the reflective meterings for this particular shoot. And I would expect that there would be, typically reflective readings are a little darker. The reflective readings give you a lower exposure value than an incident reading. So that's what I would expect. Unfortunately, based on how you labeled your images, I can't tell, one, what your exposure settings were, or two, what you metered in incident and what you metered in reflective. I have no idea. So sorry. I'm assuming that this is reflective and then this is incident. Is that right? I hope you can see my little cursor here. So the darker one would be reflective and the lighter one would be incident. That would make sense to me because, of course, in reflective mode, your meter is giving you an exposure value that will yield a medium gray out of whatever it is that you're pointing it at. Now, if you look at the background of my Acrobat screen right here, this is medium gray. This happens to be 18% gray, which is about exactly the same as the value of the water here in this image. So I'm betting that you shot this at reflective because your meter gave you an exposure value that would get a medium gray out of this. And then this one is probably shot in incident because you're actually metering the amount of light available in the scene, and so it's going to give you a more accurate view. It's going to give you a view of what this really looks like to your eyes, and not something else entirely, which is what is happening in reflective. So am I right? I don't know. Maybe. In the future, always label your images in your contact sheets with your exposure settings from that particular image. It's a very, very, very helpful tool for me, and I can give you better feedback that way. In this case, I would have also loved to have known which one was incident and which one was reflective, though I realized it wasn't detailed in the assignments. So you won't be penalized for it, but it just would have been helpful. That, and also, you should see me right now because I have my head like turned all the way on my side, because these are not reading upright. And I don't know if when you put your PDF together you knew that that was happening, that you were giving me most of your landscape-orientated images on their side. I would really like them to always read upright, and as a matter of fact, I demand it. I don't like having to turn my head to look at these. So please always make sure that when you put your images together, they all read upright, every single image. These are beautiful. Right here, these of the... I can tell, even though I have my head all cocked to the side, I can tell you these are beautiful images. I think both exposures have really nice qualities to them. I just wanted to call those out because I don't know if you chose one of those for your final. Okay, so here's your final images. And these to me look very much reflective, like they were metered and reflective, because I think you're getting sort of an average reading of something here in the distance. Because what you described is that you set up your camera, it looks like on a tripod, I'm assuming, and then you put your meter right next to your lens and you pointed it out in the same direction as your lens. So you're probably metering this, and you can see that you have an exposure value that's turning this into a local value of medium gray, which is the same as this down here. Now, if you were using it in incident mode, what you'd actually want to do is put your meter out into the scene that you're shooting, or at least in an area that has the same quality of light as your subject matter, and then face it back towards your camera's lens with the Lumisphere up. I think you're probably using the Sekonic, I don't know. And that will give you, that's going to give you your incident reading. So in reflective meter reading, yes, you hold it in the same position as your camera, very close to it, and you point it out into the scene. And you take a reading. And ideally you point it at something of medium gray local value. In incident reading, you put the light meter out in the scene and you point it back towards your camera with the Lumisphere on. So that's my take on that. And like I said, I can't really tell what shots are what for sure, but I think I can make some educated guesses. Your compositions are really nice. These look lovely when I don't have to turn my head to its side. So yeah, make sure that you always turn in all your images reading upright. In the future, label all your images in your contact sheet with your exposure settings, and I think then we'll be good. Okay? Thank you, Ellen.